what you're saying is that you were diagnosed in 2015,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
Then you were told, I mean, that in itself is such a huge thing to come to terms
correct.
with, that you've got
Yeah.
something in your brain. The terror would have
Hmm.
been very real for you at that point. But
Yeah.
also, you're then told that you need MRIs every 3 months
Hmm.
and they can't do anything about it. And at this point, you don't know whether your tumor is cancerous or benign,
Yes, exactly.
what grade of tumor it is. And from my research, the cancerous people that have brain cancer is a very low survival rate.
Correct.
So I want to ask you, because I would imagine that over that period of time, not only did you have all of that to come to terms with, the terror that you were feeling, the having to go through an MRI scan and wondering what you're going to see when you have another MRI scan.
Mm.
How do you deal with something like that? What were the skills that you learn over that period of time to mentally cope?
Yeah, it was horrible. Not to mention, I was also dizzy 24/7 throughout that as well, which is horrible in itself. Um, I meditated a lot. It will sound really depressing, but I loved going to sleep at night because I forgot about the whole situation while I was asleep. Um, and I did a lot of things to distract myself. I think that's when my entrepreneurialism peaked because if I had lots of side projects going on, it distracted me from, yeah, like I may have a severely malignant tumor in the back of my head. And I always went into my MRIs with positivity, but it was always still there. It was every time I got results, it's like, yeah, it's still there, it's still there. And I'm like, oh, like I was just, I'm not super religious or anything. I wasn't praying, but I was like just thinking, please go away. Just don't be there this time. But yeah, it was still there. And I had to maintain a normal life and a career and social life and relationships for that entire time and just, put on a brave face and smile and be happy. But like I knew that, yeah, there's a potentially death ball in the back of my brain. And yeah, it was a pretty hard time. But again, I'm very lucky that I'm a positive bloke, and I don't know why, I just am. Um, so yeah, I feel that helped me push through those. It was a hectic time. It was like 7 years of knowing that, but not knowing anything.
Mm, mm.
It's tough. Um, but yeah, loads and loads of meditation. I still meditate to this day, just to bring my anxiety and my, I guess, fight or flight just down to kind of like manageable levels. Because yeah, I'm a pretty anxious guy as it is without that news. So
Mm. And despite the dissonance, you were able to continue with what you were doing as a career through that period.
yeah, it was from looking at me, you wouldn't have known, but in my head, like I feel like I'd been just smacked with a baseball bat, and I was just a bit off all day long. It was horrible. And it was very ironic that my entire job was to show people how to move and feel good and have mobility. And yeah, I was just literally there, just in my head, dizzy, 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 dizzy all day. But I was the way I looked at it, I was still alive and I was still going. And if the way I rationalized it in my head, if it was super serious, it probably would have got me by that stage. Like it was a 7 year period. Like in my head, I'm like, it can't be that gnarly or bad or nasty, to use that first surgeon's word. Because if it was, I probably wouldn't still be around, or my symptoms would be far, far, far more severe. And I think that's why I went into each MRI with a positive hope that it might be gone. My symptoms aren't worsening; they're stable. But yeah, it never went away fully. It's still, some of it's still in there. So yeah, even to this day.
You say you're not a super religious guy, but I can tell you that if that had happened to me, I'd have been praying for it to go every time also, and probably trying every natural supplement or
Yeah,
herb
I
thing.
definitely dove down those rabbit holes of diet for brain tumors, this, that, and all these natural remedies. I went down those, and then that kind of helped me develop an anxiety disorder. So I went and talked to a psychologist. She's basically like, look, stop, doctor googling everything. Just trust in your surgeon and your medical team to do what's right for you. So yeah, I went down that rabbit hole. Trust me.